Imagine walking down a busy street. Your footsteps blend into the rhythm of the crowd. People rush past you, lost in their thoughts, caught up in their own worlds, focused on the day ahead. No one looks your way, no one acknowledges you, and in that moment, you feel invisible. Just another face in a sea of strangers, unnoticed, forgotten, irrelevant. It's a strange, heavy feeling. But here's the truth. That sense of invisibility, it's not quite what it seems. Think back to the last time you overthought a simple conversation. You replayed every word in your head, every gesture, every pause. You worried if you said something wrong, if you came across awkward or embarrassing. But the person you were talking to, they likely forgot about it within 5 minutes. Now ask yourself, do you remember what someone wore last week? Can you recall a small mistake someone else made in passing? Probably not. And yet, when it comes to ourselves, we believe every eye is on us, tracking our flaws, our slips, our missteps. But why? Why do we give so much power to the opinions of others? Why do we let imagined judgment shape how we view ourselves? Let's shift to something more modern. You post online, maybe a photo, a quote, a moment from your life. Then you wait and refresh and check again. No likes, fewer comments than expected. Suddenly your thoughts spiral. Did I say something wrong? Was it boring? Did I offend someone? But the truth is, most people are simply too busy with their own lives, caught in their own timelines, their own scrolls, their own worries. What feels like rejection is usually just distraction. This is where freedom begins. When you realize that people aren't obsessing over your every move, a weight lifts. You stop living under the pressure of imagined judgment. You stop performing. You start living. Because the truth is, you're not invisible. You're just not being constantly evaluated. And that's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful, liberating truth. Welcome to Insightful Journey. This is a space for those ready to grow beyond overthinking, anxiety, and self-doubt. If you've ever worried too much about what others think of you, this message is for you. You might be one of the many who found this channel, but only 0.2% have subscribed. We'd love your support to keep creating content that speaks to your soul, so please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more hearts like yours. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Now let's get to the heart of today's message. No one thinks about you as much as you think. And that's a good thing. Once you understand this, everything changes. You stop seeking validation. You stop chasing approval. You begin living authentically for yourself. The illusion of importance. Have you ever caught yourself thinking that everyone's watching you, that they're analyzing your every word, your every move? It's a common thought, but it's rarely true. Most people are simply focused on their own lives. Think about yesterday. How much of your time was spent worrying about yourself, your future, your insecurities, your problems? Now flip the question. How much time did you spend thinking deeply about someone else's life, their mistakes, their awkward moments? The answer is likely very little. You see, we are all the center of our own worlds. We carry our own burdens, joys, and fears. And while we might assume others are noticing our every action, they're probably not. They're dealing with their own storms. Yet we inflate our importance in their minds, believing they care about every detail of our lives. But they don't. And that's okay. In fact, that's freedom. When you stop assuming everyone is watching, you stop the cycle of overthinking. You break free from self-doubt, You begin living with peace and self-acceptance, because the only opinion that truly matters is your own. You don't need to carry the burden of seeking approval. You don't have to shape your life around what others might think. This, right here, is one of the central teachings of Buddhism. Attachment to others' opinions is a root of unnecessary suffering. Buddhism reminds us most of our pain comes not from reality, but from our desire to be accepted, validated, and understood. But when we let go of that craving, a new kind of peace emerges, one that doesn't depend on likes, praise, or attention. We begin to accept ourselves, not because someone else approves, but because we do. So why do we fall into this trap of believing everyone is watching us? It's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood, fear of not being enough. But once you truly understand that people are far too absorbed in their own lives to be constantly thinking about yours, that fear begins to dissolve. As you listen to this, take a slow, deep breath. Let the words settle. Have you noticed how beautiful the sky looks when you're not lost in worry? How fresh the air feels when you're not stuck in your thoughts? Life is happening all around you, but you miss it because you're too busy living inside your own mind. Step out, feel the wind, hear the birds, touch the earth beneath your feet. The more you connect with the world, the less you drown in your thoughts. Overthinking is like being lost in a fog. The more you struggle, the more confused you become. But the moment you stop trying to force clarity, the fog begins to lift. Clarity does not come from thinking more, it comes from thinking less, from trusting that you don't need all the answers right now, from knowing that life unfolds in its own time. Ask yourself, what if I just let go? What if I stopped trying to control every outcome, stopped trying to predict every path? What if I just trusted that everything will be okay, even if I don't know how? That is the real secret. That is freedom. You were not born to be a prisoner of your own thoughts. You were born to live, to breathe, to feel, to experience this life fully. The past is gone. The future is unknown. But this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, it is real. And in this moment, you have everything you need. So let go, breathe, be here, and watch how peace finds you when you stop searching for it. Living for yourself. How to cultivate true self-worth. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let go of everything that's pulling you in different directions. Let go of what they think, what they say, what they expect. Just be here, as you are. Because in the end, the only person who will walk every step of your journey is you. For so long, you've lived through the eyes of others. You've shaped yourself to fit their expectations. You've tried to be likable, acceptable, worthy. But no matter what you do, it never feels like enough. Why? Because when you live for others, you abandon yourself. And when you abandon yourself, nothing feels fulfilling. Do you remember the first time you hesitated to speak your truth? The first time you held back your voice out of fear? The first time you dressed, spoke, or acted a certain way? Not because it was you, but because it was what someone else wanted. Those small moments build up. And slowly, you become a version of yourself that isn't truly yours. You might think, if I stop caring about others, does that make me selfish? But no. True selfishness is living your life based on how others want you to be. True selfishness is shrinking your soul just to fit in. But living for yourself, that is freedom, that is honesty. You do not hurt others by living as your true self. You simply stop hurting yourself. Think of a bird. It does not ask if the sky approves before it flies. It does not clip its wings for someone else's comfort. It spreads them wide and soars. That is how you are meant to live, not waiting for permission, but rising because it is in your nature to rise. There comes a moment in every life when you realize you've been waiting for approval, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to tell you you're good enough. But no one is coming. No one is going to give you permission, because that permission has always been yours to give. Stop seeking approval. Return to yourself. Have you ever changed your words, your actions, or even your dreams just to match what others expect? And yet, no matter how much you try to please them, someone always has something to say. If you succeed, they'll call it luck. If you fail, they'll say they knew it. If you do nothing, they'll still find fault. So ask yourself, why waste your life trying to please people who will never be fully pleased? Your time here is short. Every moment you spend worrying about others' opinions is a moment stolen from your own soul. Every decision made out of fear is a step away from your true path. And if you don't start living for yourself now, then when? There's a teaching in Buddhism. When you stop seeking approval, you become free. Imagine that freedom, waking up and choosing what makes you happy, walking into a room without wondering what others think, speaking your truth, not with fear, but with peace. This is not arrogance. This is not rebellion. This is simply returning to yourself. Many believe that self-worth comes from achievements, from being admired, from material success. But true self-worth, it's quiet. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need attention. It is a knowing deep in your bones. I am enough, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. Think of a tree in a vast forest. It does not compare itself to the trees beside it. It does not shrink because another tree grows taller. It simply reaches toward the sky, because that is its nature. Be like that tree, stand tall, grow in your own direction, and know you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Living for yourself, small steps toward true freedom. So how do you begin? It starts with small choices. Say no when something doesn't feel right. Say yes when your heart quietly says yes. Walk away from places that drain you. Stay close to those who respect your truth. Take time to ask yourself, what do I really want when no one else is watching? At first, this will feel unfamiliar. You've spent years walking the path others laid out for you. Now, carving your own will feels strange. You'll hear voices in your head, voices of doubt, fear, hesitation. But remember, those voices are not you. They are echoes of years spent trying to fit in. And the more you choose yourself, the quieter they become. One day, you'll wake up and feel light, as if you've been carrying a weight your whole life. And finally, set it down. You'll realize you are free. Free from the pressure to impress, free from the fear of being disliked, free from the exhausting chase for approval. This is what it means to truly live for yourself. Some will misunderstand you. Some may even call you selfish. But the people who matter, the ones worth keeping, will respect you. And most importantly, you will respect yourself. Life is too short to be lived for others. So take a deep breath. Step forward. Choose yourself. Because the only person who will walk your entire journey is you. The power of inner confidence, breaking free from the need to be liked. There was once a young man who lived his entire life chasing approval. Every decision he made came from one question: what will people think? When he spoke, he worried about sounding foolish. When he dressed, he feared looking out of place. When he dreamed, he hesitated. afraid of judgment. His life was not his own. It belonged to the opinions of others. Do you see yourself in him? Have you ever held back your truth just to feel accepted? You're not alone. Most people have. It's human to want to belong, to be liked, to be understood. But when that desire takes over, you become a prisoner of opinions, a prisoner of fear, a prisoner of a life you never truly chose. Look around. So many people wear masks. Not the ones on their face, but the ones over their hearts. They say what others want to hear. They live how others expect them to live. And the saddest part, some spend their whole lives this way, never truly living at all. But today, say it with me. Enough. Enough living for others. Enough needing permission to be yourself. Why? Because no one's opinion can ever define you. No validation can ever complete you. And no amount of praise can give you what already lives within you. Happiness does not come from the outside. It comes from within. And confidence? Confidence is not something given. It's something grown. Think of a river. It does not stop flowing just because someone dislikes its direction. It does not change its course to make others comfortable. It moves forward, strong, steady, free. That is how you must be. How to build inner confidence, start with this. Understand that people's opinions change like the wind. Today they admire you. Tomorrow they criticize you. If your confidence depends on their words, you will never be stable. And here's the truth. Most people aren't thinking about you. They're not judging you. They're too busy judging themselves. Even if they do notice you, they'll forget. So why spend your life trying to impress people who won't even remember your name? Choose peace. Choose authenticity. Choose confidence from within. Let your life be yours. Let your light shine, not because others approve, but because you finally do. Let go of approval. Embrace your true confidence. In a few years, the opinions you're worrying about now will fade, and the truth is, most of them never mattered to begin with. So let's anchor into this. True confidence doesn't come from waiting for approval. It comes from taking action, especially when no one is watching. If you always wait for permission, you'll hesitate. You'll stay small. You'll never grow. But when you act, when you try, when you fail, when you learn, you build something real. Confidence isn't born, it's built, one step, one brave choice at a time. And here's another truth. Not everyone will like you. And that is perfectly okay. Even the wisest souls, Buddha, Socrates, the prophets, faced judgment. They brought light to the world, and still, they were misunderstood. So why should you expect to be the exception? Instead, remind yourself, every single day, I am enough. Say it, believe it, let it sink deep into your bones. You don't need applause to be valuable. You don't need likes to be worthy. You don't need approval to shine. Think of the sun. It rises without asking permission. It doesn't dim itself to make others comfortable. It simply shines. And in doing so, it brings life to the world. That is how you must be. Letting go of the need for approval is not easy. It takes practice. It takes patience. So start small. Speak your truth. Even if your voice shakes, say yes to what excites your soul. Say no to what drains it. Walk with confidence, even if no one claps for you. Because one day, you will wake up and realize you are free. Free from needing to be liked. Free from the fear of judgment. Free from the burden of trying to be enough for others. And that day, you will truly live. If these words have touched your heart, if even a spark of strength has awakened within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message. help someone else break free from the chains of approval. There are thousands of viewers on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. If you want to receive more wisdom like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, drop a comment below. Tell me, what is one thing you will do today, not for approval, but for yourself? Because your journey to true confidence begins now. Mastering detachment, let go and find peace now. There is something I must tell you, something that, once understood, will change everything. You've been holding on for too long, to thoughts, to people, to fear, to expectations. But what if I told you, peace is not found in holding on. It's found in letting go. Picture yourself standing in a flowing river. The water moves past you, fast, unstoppable. You try to hold it, scoop it, control it. But no matter how tightly you grasp, it slips through your fingers. This is life. The more you try to hold on, the more it escapes you. The more you try to control, the more frustrated you become. But when you let go, when you surrender to the flow, you discover something powerful. Peace is not control. Peace is surrender. For so long, you've been attached to how things should be, to how people should treat you, to how life should unfold. And every time life doesn't match those expectations, you suffer. But ask yourself, who created those expectations? You did. You built the prison. You hold the key. Now it's time to set yourself free. People spend their whole lives chasing happiness, in love, in money, in validation. But happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you allow. It comes when you stop resisting, when you stop clinging, when you stop needing life to be a certain way. Detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is the art of presence, of feeling deeply without losing yourself. You can love without clinging. You can care without depending. You can act without obsessing over the outcome. Look at nature. The tree does not cling to its leaves. When the season shifts, they fall. And still, the tree stands. The river does not cling to its water. It flows. The sky does not hold its clouds. They pass, and yet, we, as humans, cling to everything, to pain, to people, to the past, and in doing so, we suffer. So ask yourself, how many times have you been hurt simply because you held on? How many nights have you lost to thoughts that no longer matter? How many days have been ruined by one careless comment? You've given too much power to things that don't deserve it. Peace doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't depend on what others say or do. It comes from within, from you, from choosing again and again, to release, to surrender, to trust the flow. Because everything changes, every emotion, every person, every situation, nothing lasts. And that's not something to fear. It's something to celebrate. Because if nothing is permanent, then neither is your pain. Even the deepest wounds will heal. Even the strongest storms will pass. Even the people you once thought you couldn't live without will become a memory. This is the nature of life. And when you accept that, you stop fearing change. Detachment is freedom. When you stop attaching to every thought, to every comment, to every outcome, you stop being controlled by them. Someone insults you. You don't react. Because their words are just air. Someone leaves. You don't fall apart. Because your peace was never theirs to carry. Let go. Let the leaves fall. Let the river flow. Let the clouds drift. And let yourself be free. Detach, let go, and be free. Final realization. You do not break, because you understand that people come and go like seasons. You fail at something, and yet you do not fall into despair, because you now know. Failure is not the end. It is a step toward growth. Imagine you're holding a rope. You keep pulling, resisting, holding tighter. And the tighter you hold, the deeper the burn in your hands. But what happens when you let go? The pain stops. The suffering ends. This is detachment. It is not about losing. It is about releasing yourself from pain that no longer serves you. You might ask, if I detach, does that mean I stop caring? The answer is no. It means you stop being controlled by caring too much. You still love, but love doesn't consume you. You still work. But your happiness isn't tied to success. You still engage with the world. But the world no longer dictates your peace. Detachment is not escape. It is presence without obsession. It is connection without dependency. It is freedom from fear. When you are detached, you are no longer a prisoner of your thoughts. You no longer waste energy replaying the past or fearing the future. You return to the only place where peace truly exists. The present. Think of the sky. No matter what happens below, sunlight or storm, chaos or calm, the sky remains untouched. It watches, it allows, but it does not hold on. Be like the sky. Let life pass through you, but do not let it consume you. Now reflect with me. What are you holding on to? What is causing your suffering? Is it truly worth it? Or are you simply afraid to let go? Because once you do, you will feel how light life becomes. You will wonder why you ever carried so much. You have the power to be free. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. All it takes is one decision, to stop clinging, to trust, to release. Because the truth is, what is meant for you will stay. What is not meant for you will leave. No amount of control can change that. No amount of worry can rewrite fate. So why spend your life resisting what is already written? Breathe, release, trust, and watch how life begins to unfold exactly as it should. The final realization: live light, live free. You've come a long way. You've listened, you've reflected, maybe for the first time, you've questioned the way you've been living. And now you see, detachment is not emptiness, it is clarity. You still feel, but you are no longer ruled by those feelings. You love, but you do not cling. You care, but you do not depend. You take action, but you are not obsessed with the outcome. You let life be, just as it is. Look to nature. The tree doesn't cling to its leaves. They fall when it's time. The river doesn't hold on to its water. It flows, trusting more will come. The sky doesn't hold on to its clouds. It lets them pass, knowing they will return. And yet, humans cling to mistakes, to memories, to people, to moments. And in doing so, we create our own suffering. So I ask you, how many times have you hurt yourself by holding on? How many sleepless nights replaying something long gone? How many days ruined by one negative comment? Do you see what's happening? You are letting things outside of you control the peace within you. But peace doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. And the moment you realize this, you become unshakable. Everything in life is temporary. Every joy, every sorrow, every person, every moment. Nothing stays the same. And yet we live as if everything will last forever. But nothing does, not even pain, not even heartbreak. Even the people you once thought you couldn't live without become memories. And even the wounds you thought would never heal fade. This is the truth of life. When you accept impermanence, you stop fearing change. And when you stop fearing change, you begin to live. Detachment is not giving up. It is growing up. It is knowing that not everything deserves your energy. It is understanding that you do not have to control everything to find peace. It is choosing every day to be light, to be still, to be free. So breathe again, feel the moment, Let go. Because someone may insult you, but you will not react. Because someone may leave you, but you will not collapse. Because something may go wrong, but you will not fall apart. Why? Because you are no longer chasing control. You are finally living in peace, and peace was never as outside you. It was always here, within, final realization. Let go, focus, and live freely, no matter what happens beneath it, whether there is sunshine or storm. The sky remains untouched. It watches, it observes, but it holds on to nothing. Be like the sky. Let life move through you, but don't let it consume you. Now pause, breathe, and reflect. What are you still holding on to? What thought? What memory? What fear is causing your suffering? And ask yourself, is it truly worth the pain? Or are you simply afraid to let go? Because here's the truth. Once you let go, you'll realize how light life becomes. You'll wonder why you carried so much for so long. You'll see that freedom was never far. It was always one choice away. Not tomorrow, not one day. Now it only takes one decision to stop clinging, to start trusting, to release control, and surrender to the flow. Because in the end, what is meant for you will stay, and what is not. No amount of worry, force, or fear can make it stay. So why fight what's already written? Breathe, release, trust, and watch how life begins to unfold exactly as it's meant to. You are already enough. You've come a long way. You've listened, you've reflected, and maybe for the first time, you've begun to see life through a new lens. Now remember this, you are enough. You don't need permission to be yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to be happy. You don't need validation to exist. You are already whole. The moment you stop searching outward, you'll realize everything you ever needed was always within you. Peace, clarity, freedom. They were never far. They were waiting inside for you to let go. A simple request before you go. If this message resonated with your soul, if you felt even the slightest shift within, then don't keep it to yourself. There are countless people out there who need to hear what you just heard. But here's something strange. This channel has thousands of views, yet only 0.2% subscribe. If you found wisdom here, please take a moment. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep spreading light in a world that so deeply needs it. And before you go, what was the one lesson that stayed with you? Share it in the comments. Let's grow this community of clarity, truth, and peace. Because the path to freedom doesn't begin tomorrow. It doesn't wait for someday. It begins now, right now. So take the first step. Let go. Focus and live freely. Your life is waiting. Will you answer the call? You are not as significant in the minds of others as you think, and that is one of the most freeing truths you'll ever realize. You are not under constant observation. You are not being judged the way you imagine. And the more you release this illusion, the more space you create to live life on your terms, without fear, without pressure, without apology. If you're ready to break free from overthinking and the fear of being seen the wrong way, stay with us, because this is where real freedom begins. Let's take a step back in time. Remember a moment that embarrassed you. Maybe you tripped in public or said something awkward. You probably still remember it vividly. Now flip the scene. Can you remember when someone else did the same? Did you hold on to their moment of awkwardness? Probably not. Because for you, it was a passing moment. And for them, your mistake was too. So why do we believe the world is always watching? It's the mind. The mind is self-centered. It makes us the main character in every story. It convinces us that everything revolves around us. But this is just a trick of perception. Buddhism teaches that the self, this ego we hold so tightly, is a source of suffering. And one of the strongest attachments is the belief that we are more important to others than we really are. This belief keeps us imprisoned, afraid of looking foolish, afraid of judgment, afraid of not being enough. But once you realize that most people are simply passing by in their own world, just like you become free. Free from the burden of being perfect, free from needing to be seen, free from overthinking every move. Think of the sky. Clouds come and go, drifting, shifting, changing shape. They don't worry about how they look. They don't hold on to form. They don't fear judgment. They simply exist, light, free, and unattached. You can be like the clouds, but the ego will resist. It will scream that you must be noticed, that you must matter in every room. But the Buddha taught this clearly. The ego is the root of suffering. It attaches to praise. It craves recognition, and it fears being ignored. But dissolve the ego, and you dissolve the suffering. Picture this. You're walking through a bustling marketplace. People are talking, buying, moving quickly. Someone drops a bag, stumbles. For a moment, a few heads turn, and then, just like that, everyone returns to what they were doing. Now imagine that person is you. You think your moment of clumsiness was unforgettable. But in reality, no one remembered. They were just passing by. That's how life is. People move on. They forget. And you should, too. Even when people judge or criticize, how long does it really last? A few minutes? A few days? And then they return to their own lives, their own problems. Their judgment fades like footprints in the sand, erased by the tide. And even if they remember, so what? Their opinions don't shape your path. Their words don't define who you are. Only your own actions and your own beliefs have that power. So let go of this illusion. Stop overestimating your place in others' minds. Stop living for validation. Live for you. Because at the end of the day, the only person who will walk every step of this journey with you is you. Attachment and suffering. What Buddhism teaches about letting go, sit quietly. Take a deep breath. Now listen closely. You hold on too many things. People, emotions, possessions, thoughts. You grip them tightly, thinking they define you. But when you lose them, what follows? Pain, emptiness, grief. This is the very insight the Buddha discovered. Attachment brings suffering. The more tightly you cling, the more you suffer. You fear losing these things because you believe you need them to be whole. But is that really true? Think back to a time when you lost something meaningful. A relationship, a friend, a cherished item. In that moment, it felt like everything stopped, like you couldn't go on. But you did. You're still here. Life didn't end. So why does the mind suffer so deeply? Because it believes these things are permanent. Because it thinks they belong to you. But the truth is, nothing truly does. Everything is temporary. Everything is borrowed. Look at the tree. It stands tall, its leaves swaying in the breeze. When autumn comes, the leaves fall. But the tree does not mourn. It lets go. And it continues to live. So must we. Let go, flow, and be free. Buddhist wisdom on attachment, ego, and peace. The tree does not resist the wind. It does not cling to its falling leaves. It lets go, because it understands this is the way of life. But humans resist. We cling. We fight against change. We hold on to what's already gone, dead leaves of the past, refusing to accept the seasons of life. Imagine this. You're holding a burning rope. The longer you hold, the deeper the pain. And yet, you won't let go. Because your mind whispers, if I drop it, I'll fall. But the truth is, the moment you let go, the pain ends. This is what attachment does. We hold on to people, hoping they'll stay. We grip tightly to success, terrified of failure. We replay painful memories over and over, as if suffering can keep them alive. But none of these things are meant to last. Everything in this life is moving, changing, flowing, like a river. And when you try to dam the river, you don't stop the flow. You only drown yourself in resistance. The Buddha taught that all suffering begins with craving. You crave love, so you fear loneliness. You crave success, so you fear falling. You crave stability, so you fear change. And this endless craving binds you to pain. But there's a way out, a simple way, letting go. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving or caring or feeling. It means you stop clinging. It means you stop trying to control life and start accepting it. When you stop needing to possess, control, or hold on, you become free. Think of the sky. Clouds come and go. They do not fight the wind. They do not fear disappearing. They simply pass. When joy comes, welcome it. When sorrow arrives, let it move through you. You are not your emotions. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are the sky, expansive, open, and untouched by the weather. If someone leaves, let them go. If a dream fade, begin again. If something is taken, remember, it was never truly yours to keep. Nothing in this world is permanent. And the more you accept this, the lighter your soul becomes. Look at water. It doesn't resist. It flows around obstacles. It adapts. It accepts. Be like water. Flow with life, not against it. The deepest peace comes not from gaining control, but from understanding that you never needed to control anything at all. You don't need approval. You don't need to be understood. You don't need the world to validate your worth. Everything you seek already lives within you. And the more you let go, the lighter you become. The lighter you become, the freer you feel. And when you are free, suffering can no longer rule you. The ego trap, how self-obsession creates suffering. Sit with me for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Let go. Let go of every thought weighing you down. Now listen. The heaviest burden you carry is not what others think of you, but what you think of yourself. You believe your thoughts are deeply important. You believe the world should care about your feelings, your opinions, your image. You spend your life defending that image, trying to be seen a certain way, trying to be right, to be admired, to be enough. But what if I told you, this is the root of your suffering? Think about the last time you felt hurt. Someone insulted you, ignored you, made you feel small. And what happened next? You played the scene in your head, over and over, creating stories, building arguments, trying to reclaim control. Why did they say that? Do they not respect me? Am I not enough? But stop and ask yourself, why does it matter? Why does your mind fight so hard to protect the ego? The ego is a mask. It's the false self, created to survive in a world obsessed with appearances. It craves recognition. It demands validation. It whispers, you must win. You must be admired. You must be right. And because of this, you suffer. But nature doesn't suffer like this. Look at the trees. Do they need to be noticed? Do they crave praise? Number, they simply grow. They bend with the wind. They let the rain fall, and they keep reaching for the sun. The river doesn't hold on to the water it carries. It lets it flow. But you hold on to every glance, every word, every opinion, as if your worth depends on them. Here's the truth. Most people are too busy with their own egos to worry much about yours. Just like you're busy worrying about yourself, they are too. The person who judged you has already moved on. The one who ignored you is lost in their own battles. Yet here you are, carrying the weight of a story that only exists in your mind. Let it go. You are not what people think of you. You are not your ego's narrative. You are not here to be admired. You are here to be free. So breathe, release the illusion, and return to your true self. What happens when you let go? The power of detachment and ego. Surrender. What happens when you finally let go? When you stop defending your ego? When you no longer feel the need to be right, to impress, to prove your worth to the world? You become free. Free from the weight of expectations, free from the chains of self-importance, free from the endless loop of validation and comparison. Buddha once said, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." But what happens when the drop forgets it belongs to the ocean? When it tries to separate itself, to be different, to be special, to stand out, it suffers. Only when it surrenders, when it remembers its place in the vast ocean, does it find peace. Now reflect on your own life. How many peaceful nights have you lost over someone's careless words? How many joyful moments were ruined by pride, by anger, or the desperate need to be right? How many relationships have been strained, even broken, simply because your ego refused to let go? Imagine you're walking through a busy marketplace. Someone yells, insult your way. Now you have two choices. You can turn back, argue, defend yourself, prove your worth, or you can smile, walk away, and let their words vanish like smoke in the wind. Which path leads to peace? Which choice sets you free? Do you see it now? The more you fight for your ego, the more you suffer. But the more you let go, the lighter you become. This is the quiet strength of the wise. They don't waste energy proving themselves. They don't argue over small things. They don't carry grudges. They simply exist, like the wind, like water, like the trees. Now you might wonder, but if I let go, won't people walk all over me? Won't they take advantage of me? Number letting go is not weakness, it's power, it's wisdom. True strength is not in fighting every battle, but in knowing which ones are not worth your peace. And most of them aren't. Look around. The people who are truly happy are not the ones constantly chasing approval or admiration. They are the ones who are content with themselves, whole, even in silence, free, even when unseen. So ask yourself, who are you without your ego? Who are you without the desire to be admired, to be praised, to be important? Who are you when you simply let go? That is where peace begins, not in winning, not in proving, but in surrendering. So take a breath, let go. You don't need to carry this burden anymore. The power of detachment, freeing yourself from expectations. Imagine holding a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone is an expectation, some placed by society, some by your family, some by your friends, and many by yourself. You carry this weight every day, thinking it's your responsibility, that without it, you are nothing. But what if I told you, you can put it down? From the moment we are born, we are shaped to please others, taught how to act, what to believe, who to become. We are rewarded for fitting in and judged for being different. We begin to shape our lives, not from our truth, but from their approval. But here's the truth. No matter how hard you try, you will never please everyone. And the harder you try, the more you lose yourself. Think about it. That time you hesitated before following your dream, because you feared what others might say. That moment you stayed silent because the weight of judgment was louder than your voice. How many dreams have you buried beneath the fear of disappointing others? Detachment is not coldness. It's not rejection. It's clarity. It's knowing that your worth is not defined by others' praise or acceptance. It's walking your own path, not the one other carved for you. Buddha said, attachment is the root of suffering. And attachment isn't just about material things. It's the attachment to approval, to being liked, to being seen as successful. These are attachments, too. And they bring pain. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. Now peel off the labels, the ones society gave you, the ones you gave yourself. Remove the weight of expectations. Take away the opinions, the judgments, the comparisons. What remains? Just you, the real you, the one who doesn't need to be anything more to be enough. Think of a river. It flows. It doesn't resist. It doesn't try to impress the rocks. It doesn't seek approval from the trees. It simply moves, effortlessly, beautifully, toward its own destination. This is how life is meant to be. Not heavy, not forced, not measured by others' standards, but free, flowing, authentic, let go, and flow like the river. Letting go of what others think, the freedom of detachment. When you hold on to what others think of you, you become like a dammed river, stuck, stagnant, unable to flow freely with life. Ask yourself, who are you living for? Are your choices truly your own, or are they shaped by the fear of being judged? If today were your last day on earth, would you regret living to please others instead of living as your true self? The moment you understand that you don't have to meet anyone's expectations, you begin to taste something rare and real. Freedom. Detachment is not coldness. It's not isolation. It is liberation. It's the quiet joy of being yourself, without needing applause, approval, or permission. Others' opinions are like passing clouds. They drift in, they drift out. But the sky? It remains still, vast, untouched. You are the sky, not the clouds. Many fears detachment because they believe it leads to disconnection. But in truth, detachment leads to deeper love, deeper clarity, greater presence. When you no longer seek validation, you connect with others out of genuine emotion, not out of need. You give freely. You love without fear. You exist without performing. Think of the greatest teachers, the wisest minds, the strongest souls. Did they live to impress others? Did they change course based on society's fleeting approval? Number they walked their own path. They understood that real strength comes from within, not from the opinions of the world. So how do you begin to detach? Start small. Notice when you change your behavior just because you're worried about what others might think. Observe the moments when fear of judgment silences your voice. Ask yourself, does this really matter? Most fears, when seen clearly, are illusions. They live in the mind, not in the world. And when you stop living for approval, life becomes lighter, conversations become real, decisions become clear. Happiness is no longer borrowed, it's created from within. This is the power of detachment. This is what it means to live freely. Sit down, take off the heavy bag, walk forward. The weight you've been carrying was never really yours. The strength in silence, finding power in solitude. Why are we so afraid of silence? Why do we feel restless in solitude? Because in silence, there's no noise to hide behind, no distractions to numb our thoughts, no escape from our inner truth. When you are alone, you meet the one person you've spent your whole life avoiding, yourself. But silence is not punishment. Solitude is not loneliness. They are sacred paths to self-discovery. The deepest wisdom is not found in the noise of the world. but in the quiet spaces where no one is watching and no one is speaking. In silence, you hear the truths that were always there, your thoughts, your fears, your authentic voice. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sat alone, without your phone, without music, without anything, just sat, just breathed, just listened? Most people can't sit in silence for 5 minutes without feeling uncomfortable. They reach for their phones, open apps, fill the space with sound. But what are they running from? Society teaches us that being alone is a problem, that silence is emptiness, that if you're alone, something must be wrong. But that's not true. Monks, warriors, sages, and philosophers all have embraced solitude because they knew true strength is not found in the crowd. It's found in the quiet, in being comfortable with yourself even when no one else is around. When you're constantly surrounded by others, you absorb their energy, their beliefs, their noise. You begin to act like them, think like them, live for them. You forget who you are, but when you sit alone, you remember. You begin to separate your true voice from the world's echo. Silence teaches your patience. It teaches you presence. It teaches you how to observe rather than react. You begin to notice things, the emotions that move through you, the way people behave, the subtle rhythms of life. Many people talk simply to avoid silence. They fill the space between words because they fear the quiet. But those who understand silence know its power. They speak less, but when they do, their words matter. Imagine 2 people in an argument. One is loud, shouting, desperate to be heard. The other is calm, silent, observing. Who holds the real power? Let silence be your teacher. Let solitude be your sanctuary. And let go of everything that isn't yours to carry. Because in letting go, you do not lose yourself. You finally find yourself. The strength in silence. Learning to listen beyond words. Who is the one that holds real power? Not the one who shouts the loudest, not the one who wins the argument, but the one who doesn't waste their energy on empty words. The one who knows that silence is sometimes stronger than any reply. There's an old Zen saying, silence is a source of great strength. And it's true. When you become comfortable with stillness, when you learn to be alone without fear, you become unshakable. You no longer chase approval. You no longer depend on the opinions of others to feel whole. You become complete within yourself. In Buddhism, silence is more than the absence of speech. It is the presence of awareness. When a monk sits in meditation, they are not simply being quiet. They are listening to the breath, to the body, to the subtle movement of thought. In that stillness, they don't disconnect from life. They connect with it more deeply. Solitude is not escape. It's a return to the self, a return to truth. And slowly, in that space of stillness, you begin to realize everything you were chasing outside, peace, clarity, strength, was always within you. But how do you begin? Start small. Sit alone for just 5 minutes a day. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you and your breath. Let your thoughts come and go, like clouds floating through a vast sky. Watch them, but don't follow them. Then take it further. Go for a quiet walk. No headphones, no talking. Just observe. Feel the air on your skin. Listen to the sounds of the world. Not to label or judge, but simply to be. At first it will be uncomfortable. The mind will resist. It will beg you to return to noise, to distraction. But don't give in. Sit a little longer. Walk a little farther. Listen a little deeper. Soon, something will shift. Your mind will soften. Your breath will deepen. A calm will settle over you. the kind of calm no noise, no crowd, no company can give. When you embrace solitude, you become free. Free from the pressure to perform, free from the fear of being alone, free to think, to grow, to truly know yourself. In a way most people never do. So don't fear silence. Don't run from solitude. They are not your enemies. They are your greatest teachers. Inner peace. Over approval. The Buddhist path to freedom. From the moment you were born, you were taught to seek approval, make your parents proud, please your teachers, fit in with your friends. As you grow older, the craving for validation grows deeper. You want to be admired. You want to be respected. You want to feel seen. You chase compliments, recognition, and the comfort of knowing someone somewhere thinks you're enough. But have you ever stopped to ask, why does their opinion matter so much? Why does one harsh word feel heavier than 100 kind ones? Why does rejection sting, even when it comes from someone who barely knows your soul? The answer is this. You've been conditioned to seek your happiness outside of yourself. You've been taught that your worth depends on being liked, that peace comes from praise, that love must be earned, and because of that, you've forgotten the truth. You were whole before anyone ever told you who you had to be. But what if your peace didn't depend on others at all? Imagine standing in the heart of a storm, wind howling, rain crashing, chaos all around. Yet within you, stillness. You do not fight the storm. You do not beg it to stop. You simply remain grounded, centered, whole. That is the power of inner peace. Buddhism teaches that real peace comes from within, not from praise, not from admiration, not from social status, because those things, they are fleeting. They come and go like seasons, and if your joy depends on them, you will always be a prisoner, chained to the ever-shifting tides of others' opinions. Think about the last time you were praised. Maybe someone admired your work, your looks, your intelligence. It felt good, didn't it? But how long did it last? A few hours? A day? And then what? You needed more. You looked for the next compliment, the next sign that you mattered. Praise, like any drug, gives you a high. But it fades, and with it, your sense of worth. So what's the alternative? Return to yourself. Let go of the need to be seen. Let go of the craving to be liked. Let go of the belief that your value must be proven to anyone. Because when you no longer need validation, you discover something rare. You are already enough. And in that moment, you are finally free. The illusion of praise and the power of detachment, but praise. It never lasts. No matter how good it feels, you always crave another dose, a new compliment, a fresh reminder that you matter. And so the cycle continues. Now think of a moment you were criticized. Someone insulted you, judged you, made you feel small. And those words, they stayed, replaying in your mind like a loop you couldn't stop. They hurt, because you gave them power. But ask yourself, who are they? What gives them the right to shape your peace? There's a story of a wise man who once said, if someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong? The answer is simple. It still belongs to the giver. The same is true for both praise and insult. If someone praises you, it is their opinion, not your truth. If someone insults you, it is their judgment, not your reality. You don't have to accept what's handed to you. You don't have to carry others' words in your heart. So how do you find peace within yourself? The first step is this. Stop looking outward. Stop measuring your worth by others' opinions. Stop chasing approval from people who are just as uncertain and lost as you are. Instead, turn inward. Ask yourself, who am I without the labels, without the expectations, without the audience? The Buddha taught, attachment is the root of suffering. And one of the most powerful attachments we carry is the need for approval. We seek praise. We fear criticism. We build our lives around being seen in a certain light. But when you let go of that need, you unlock a level of freedom that most people never experience. You stop chasing praise. You stop fearing judgment. You stop living for others. And you start living for yourself. Picture a river, flowing free, untouched. A stone is thrown into it. Does the river change its course? Does it stop and react? Number. It keeps flowing, effortless, unbothered, unshaken. You must become like the river. Let the world speak. Let the opinions rise and fall. Let the judgments come and go, but remain steady, because the truth is, the world will never stop talking. Some will love you, some will criticize you, some will celebrate you today and forget you tomorrow. But in the grand scheme of things, none of it defines you. At the end of the day, you are the one who must live with yourself. You are the one who dreams your dreams, faces your fears, and walks your path. So why live for anyone else? True peace is unshakable. When you find peace within, the outside world loses its power over you. You're no longer swayed by compliments, nor destroyed by criticism. You become grounded, balanced, rooted in truth. That is the power of inner peace. To be yourself, without apology, without fear, without need. Understanding impermanence, why nothing lasts forever. Now let us turn to one of the most profound teachings of the Buddha. Impermanence. Everything in life is always changing. Nothing stays the same. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. The breath you inhale now will soon be gone. This moment you're in has already passed. Life is a river, flowing endlessly forward. But the mind resists this flow. It clings to people, to moments, to emotions. We act as if the things we love will stay forever, as if the pain we feel will last forever too. But this is not the truth. Think back to your childhood, the faces you saw every day, the streets you once knew by heart. How many remain the same today? What happened to the friends you swore you'd never lose? What about the dreams that once kept you awake at night? Chances are, many have changed, some have faded, others are simply gone. This is the nature of life. Everything is temporary, everything is passing, and when you finally understand this, suffering begins to loosen its grip. The pain of loss, the fear of change, the anxiety about the future, all of it stems from the illusion that things should remain as they are. But they don't. The tree that stands tall today will one day return to dust. The storm raging in your life now will eventually calm. The person who hurt you yesterday may disappear tomorrow. And you are changing too, moment by moment. Look at your emotions. One day you feel light and full of joy. The next, you feel burdened and unsure. One morning you rise with strength. By evening you feel fragile. This is the rhythm of life. Emotions, like waves, rise and fall. They do not stay. They do not define you. Yet we cling. We hold on to happiness, fearing its loss. We hold on to pain, believing it will never leave. But both joy and sorrow are passing guests. They come. They stay a while, they leave, so let them move through you and remain like the river, flowing, free, at peace. Resisting the flow, the more you fight, the more you suffer. The more you resist the natural rhythm of life, the more you suffer. Imagine standing in the ocean, trying to push back the waves with your bare hands. The harder you fight, the more exhausted you become. But if you simply let go, if you float and let the waves carry you, you move with ease, not against it. Life is the same. When you resist impermanence, you drown in fear. But when you accept it, you rise in peace. The beauty in impermanence. Many people fear loss, the passing of time, the fading of beauty, the death of loved ones, the uncertainty of tomorrow. But pause for a moment and consider. Would you treasure the sunset if the sky never turned dark? Would a song touch your heart if it played endlessly? Would a flower be beautiful if it never wilted? It is because things are temporary that they become precious. Think of the flower that blooms, knowing it will one day fall. The river that flows, aware it will one day dry. The sun that rises, only to set again. Yet none of them resist their fate. They embrace it. They live fully in the time they are given. There's an old story. A man came to the Buddha, heartbroken over the death of someone he loved. He asked, "Why must we suffer loss?" The Buddha replied gently, "If you love, you must accept loss. If you are attached, you must accept change. This is the nature of all things." Still seeking escape, the man asked, "Is there a way to avoid this pain?" The Buddha gave him a task. "Go to every home in this village. Bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a family that has never experienced loss." The man searched, house after house, door after door. But everywhere he went, he heard the same stories: loss, grief, change. He returned empty-handed, but with a new understanding. No one escapes impermanence, not the rich, not the wise, not the kind, not even you. Once you truly understand this, you stop fighting life. You stop fearing change, stop clinging to what must pass, and begin living in harmony with what is. Loss becomes a teacher, change becomes a companion, and peace becomes your natural state. So why live in fear of the inevitable? Why waste your strength resisting what you cannot hold? Let go of the belief that joy must last forever. Let go of the idea that pain will never leave. See life for what it is: a river flowing, a breeze passing, a dance of constant change. If you feel heartbroken, remember, this too shall pass. If you feel stuck, know, life is always moving, even when you can't see it. Nothing is permanent, not your struggles, not your fears, not even you. But this is not tragedy. This is freedom. The day you accept impermanence is the day you stop clinging. You stop overthinking. You stop fearing the unknown. You start living. Not for yesterday, not for tomorrow, but for this single precious moment. And this moment is all you ever truly have. So breathe it in, feel it, let it go. Watch your thoughts come and go, like the wind, like the waves. Let the world be what it is. Because once you embrace impermanence, you no longer need control. You find something far greater. You find peace. The middle path, balancing self-interest and compassion. Now sit with me. Take a slow, deep breath, and let everything go for just a moment. You've spent so much time thinking about others, what they might say, what they might think, what they expect of you. And when you try to focus on yourself, guilt pulls you back. You ask yourself, am I being selfish? You feel torn, trapped between caring too much for others and feeling like you're not caring enough for yourself. But the Buddha offered a way out of this struggle, a path not of extremes, but of balance. He called it the middle path. If you live only for others, you lose yourself. If you live only for yourself, you feel empty. The middle path is not choosing between selflessness and selfishness. It is weaving both into harmony. Think of a tree. It does not give all its fruit at once, nor does it refuse to give. It offers shade, but does not bend until it breaks. It stands firm in its roots, yet sways gently with the wind. This is the middle path. You don't have to abandon yourself to serve others. nor do you have to shut out the world to protect yourself. You simply learn to listen to others and to your own soul. You learn to give when it is time to give, and to hold back when it is time to rest, to speak when your voice brings light, and to be silent when it is wiser. You do not need to choose one over the other. You only need to choose balance. And in that balance, you will find your peace. Wisdom in action, how to walk the middle path in daily life. This is wisdom, but how do you walk this path in real life? Let me show you. Imagine someone comes to you with a problem. They need your help, your time, your energy. Your heart wants to say yes, but deep inside, you know the cost. Helping them will drain you. You'll suffer for it, and yet you say yes anyway. Why? Because you feel guilty saying no. Now imagine the opposite. You're so focused on your own needs that you shut the world out. You never give. You never help. Eventually, you feel it. Alone. Disconnected. Empty. Both extremes lead to suffering. One will exhaust you. The other will isolate you. The middle path is the wisdom of knowing. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're tired, rest. If you're overwhelmed, step back. If you need space, it's okay to say no. And when you're full, when your energy is restored, then you can give, without hesitation, without regret. The Buddha once told a story. A student asked, "Master, how should I practice mindfulness?" The Buddha replied, "How does a musician tune his instrument? If the strings are too tight, they snap. If they're too loose, they don't play. Balance is the key. Life is the same. If you give too much, you will break. If you give too little, you will lose connection." Many people misunderstand Buddhism. They think detachment means isolation. To feel nothing, to remove yourself from the world. But true detachment is not the absence of emotion. It is the mastery of it. It is the art of not being ruled by what you feel. Picture this. You're holding a rope. If you pull too tightly, it burns your hands. If you let go completely, it falls. The right way, hold it firmly, but gently. That's how you must approach life, relationships, and even your own desires. There's no need to choose between yourself and others. You can live a life that respects your needs and shows kindness to the world. You can be strong without being cold. You can be gentle without being weak. So what do you do when someone demands too much from you? Ask yourself, am I helping out of love or out of fear? If the answer is fear, step back. If the answer is love, give freely, without regret. And if you feel guilty for caring for yourself, remember this. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is survival. A candle that is burned out cannot light another. You must protect your flame so you can keep giving light. In life, you will meet people who take advantage of your kindness. You will also meet those who treasure it. The key is learning to recognize the difference. Don't let guilt blind you from the truth. And don't let past pain harden your heart. Be like the ocean. Allow the waves of emotion to rise and fall, but remain deep and centered beneath it all. The middle path is not a destination. It's not a place you arrive at. It is a way of walking. It is the gentle art of knowing when to hold on and when to let go. It is the wisdom of balance. So take a breath. Let go of the pressure to please everyone. Let go of the fear of being alone. Trust your own path. You are not here to live in guilt or fear. You are here to live in balance. And when you find that balance, you will know peace. Breaking free from overthinking, practical Buddhist wisdom. Now sit down, take a slow, deep breath, and let everything quiet down, just for a moment. Your mind is always running, isn't it? One thought after another, like waves crashing against the shore. You replay past mistakes. You fear the future. You overanalyze the present. But ask yourself, has all this thinking ever truly helped you? Has it ever brought you peace? The truth is, the more you think, the more you suffer. The mind is clever. It convinces you that if you think long enough, you'll find answers. That if you worry hard enough, you'll prevent pain. But in reality, you only become trapped in fear, in regret, in self-doubt. You don't need to think more. You need to attach less to your thoughts. Because thoughts are just that. Thoughts. They're not facts. They're not reality. They are clouds in the sky. Let them come. Let them go. Picture yourself sitting by a river. The water flows, carrying twigs, leaves, and debris. These are your thoughts. You can try to grab them, hold them, fix them, control them. But the river never stops. The more you fight it, the more tired you become. But if you simply sit and watch and allow it to flow, suddenly there is no struggle. This is the way of the mind. You don't need to stop your thoughts. You just need to stop following them. Overthinking is not thinking. It is attachment to thought. The mind creates stories. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I fail? But most of these scenarios never come true. The only thing happening is this moment, right here, right now. And this moment is all you ever truly have. You are not your thoughts. The art of letting go. You must learn to observe, not react, not analyze, just observe. When a thought comes, don't fight it, don't chase it, don't judge it, just notice it, and let it go. Like a leaf floating gently down a river, it will pass. Because you are not your thoughts, you are the awareness behind them. Another way to free yourself is through the breath. Your breath is never in the past. It never exists in the future. It is always now. Right now. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Now let it go. Did you feel that? In that single breath, there was no past, no future, no worry, only the present. The more you return to your breath, the more you return to peace. Your mind and body are deeply connected. Have you noticed how your body reacts when you overthink? Tense shoulders, a heavy chest, a tight stomach. But when your body softens, your thoughts follow. So next time your mind feels chaotic, loosen your jaw, relax your shoulders, unclench your fists, feel your feet grounded on the earth. Bring yourself back to what is, not what might be. Attachment is the root of suffering, and overthinking is simply attachment to thoughts. You attach to outcomes, to fears, to regrets, but nothing in life is permanent, not even the thoughts that haunt you. What worries you today may mean nothing a year from now. Even your deepest pain will eventually fade. There's a Zen saying, you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day, unless you're too busy. Then you should sit for an hour. The busier your mind, the more stillness you need. Meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It's about realizing thoughts do not control you. Every morning before the world wakes, take a few minutes to sit in silence. Watch your thoughts as if they belong to someone else. The more you do this, the more you'll realize they're just passing visitors, not rulers of your mind. There is a world outside your head, a sky that glows, a breeze that whispers, a moment that's waiting to be lived.